Hi guys, I'm Bex. Welcome to my channel. So I've been asked to do an update on my bloating video that I did about 10 months ago now, so back in May. And if you watch that video, I'll put the link in the comments box below. You'll see that I suffered quite badly with bloating and it had gone on for quite a long time. So I was discharged in 2011, so it was a good 9 years that I've been suffering with this bloating. And if you watch other bloating videos, you'll see that often the sufferers will say, yeah, it's like this for 6 months, a year, but then it all redistributes and it's fine. And for me, I never ever found that. I found that my bloating just continued, and it has continued for now the best part of nearly 10 years. So I just wanted to do an update, because if you watch that video, you'll see that I'd massively struggled with the amount of vegetables I was eating, and I was eating loads and loads of vegetables, which I was putting a lot of that down to my bloating. The bloating was down to the amount of vegetables I was eating, and I was eating so many vegetables, I think, because my diet was so very, very controlled and portioned and everything done to the gram, to the calorie. The only thing I didn't measure out was my vegetables. So at times when I was very, very hungry, I would allow myself to eat more vegetables because it was the only food that I felt I could eat. And so I started to increase the amount of vegetables I was eating around 2015, 2016, and I was eating masses, like absolutely loads and loads of vegetables. And I mean, people with eating disorder, it's often said that people who have had anorexia, who've had an eating disorder, their digestive system will never fully recover. And I think that is, I've suffered badly with anorexia for over 10 years now. I don't think my digestive system will ever fully recover, and the fact that I was loading it with all these vegetables really wasn't helping. So as I say, that started in 2015, 2016, eating loads and loads of vegetables, and I'll try and put a picture up in the corner, the sort of amount of vegetables that I was eating. And so this is like my bloating from the last video that I did, so you can see quite bad bloating, and that's been like that for 9 years. I've had to live with that sort of bloating. But then if you saw my last video, I'd been trying to reduce the amount of vegetables I was eating, which I did manage to do. I still managed to do. I have cut down the amount that I eat. I nowhere near eat the same amount, but I still eat probably too much. I eat a bowlful, this sort of bowlful, and as I say, I do think I still eat too much fruit and vegetables, and it's probably not too good for my body because the digestive system just can't cope with it. But also coupled with that has been bad eating habits. So when I did this last video of my bloating, I was eating only in the evening, really. I was saving all my food in my dinner and my evening snack, and I had been doing that for the good past year or so. I was just eating everything in the evening. That's what my head wanted to do. I felt like I needed to save my calories for later on. If I ate earlier in the day, but I've got nothing to look forward to then later on. So it felt like I had to save my calories for the evening. And if you've watched some of my previous YouTube videos, you'll see that I've had several attempts of trying to introduce breakfast, introduce lunch, to try and spread some of the food out during the daytime. But around November time last year, so just gone November, so November 2019, I went back to my old habits. I went back to eating everything at night time, and this, I think, has been part of as long with the vegetables, the saving everything to the night time has been a massive, I think, problem as with my bloating. Because if you think of, say, a pipe with water going in it, if water trickles in through the pipe steadily throughout the day, the pipe functions well. But if you put nothing in the pipe at all during the day, and then all of a sudden, all at once, you load all the day's water into the pipe at once, the pipe's not going to cope. It's going to burst. It's going to be overloaded with the water. That's effectively what I've been doing to my body. I've been giving it no food throughout the day, and then overloading all the daytime's worth of food in the evening. So in January this year, so January 2020, 3 months ago, I made a real conscious effort and decision that I was going to eat breakfast, eat lunch, and not just have it as token gestures, actually have a proper breakfast, a proper lunch, and less in the evening. And I've stuck to it, and this time I am so determined to stick to it. I think, like in the past when I've tried to introduce breakfast and lunch, if say my mum hasn't reminded me to say, have you eaten your breakfast, then I wouldn't have eaten it. But now I'm actually like, no, I actually want to eat breakfast, I want to eat lunch, I want to get it, I want to be kind to my body. That is the thing. We have put our bodies through so much hell with an eating disorder. When we're trying to recover, we have to be kind to it, and me eating loads and loads of vegetables and eating everything at night time is not being kind to it. And also, since my last video in May, I've gained about 4 kilos in weight, and I've been trying to improve my strength. So I started strength training, working on just building my strength in all my body, so my legs, my core, everything. And I think the bloating has reduced a little bit. So I think it hasn't reduced much. So I'll just show you. So this is my bloating now. When I stand up correct, because I have really bad posture, so if I stand up correctly and tense my core, you can see that the bloating has come down a lot. That's it, relaxed. It's still not great, there is still work to be done, but I think continuing to work on eating less fruit and veg, which is a very, very big struggle. I'm not gonna lie, like I find it so hard, and I think to myself, right, today is the day you have to start eating less fruit and veg. And then I come to having my dinner and I'm like, but I just want some more vegetables. But I just think it's just not even just in any sort of eating disorder way. It's just not good for my stomach to cope with all those vegetables. And yes, breakfast and lunch is in for good now. I'm really determined not to slip back on that. And I think it's actually helping. I want to have bigger breakfasts and bigger lunches, so I'm still having a fairly substantial evening snack. So I want to try and move more of that forward in the day, so I'm again feeding that pipe steadily, not overwhelming it with everything all at once. And yeah, as I said, I've been working on my strength, developing my core. In the past, when I'd seen people about my bloating, and they'd said that part of the reason you have such bad bloating is because you have no stomach muscles there. They are very weak, so there's nothing to keep everything in. And I'd always say, yeah, but I can plank for 5 minutes. I do have a strong core. And the response would be, but your stomach muscles, where you've become so very thin, and then okay, you've restored some weight, but your stomach muscles they're like paper thin. They may be strong for paper, but there's not actually much muscle there. So I've been really trying to work on my core. And as I say, so this is me relaxed, and then when my stomach is, when I stand up correctly, correct my posture, tense my core, my bloating does come down. So there is a little bit of progress, still a long way to go, but I just wanted to do this video. I had a request for me to do an update on the bloating video. As I say, I've suffered with bloating now for nearly 10 years. It hasn't been a case of, well, in a year everything's redistributed and it's been fine. And I'm not doing that because I want to scare people to think, oh my god, you're going to be stuck with it for 9 years as well. You won't if you are kind to your body like I haven't been. So vegetables and fruit may feel safe foods, but they're not going to be beneficial to your body. As I say, I wasn't restricting calories when I was eating everything later in the evening, but it was just a modality of eating that I'd gotten into, that the eating disorder liked. But again, that's not being kind to your body, that's not being healthy. So I would just really recommend being kind, eating regularly, not overloading with a lot of fibre, with a lot of fruit, with a lot of veg. And strength is going to be important to help reduce the bloating, as is a bit of weight gain, I think. But yeah, that's just an update on my bloating situation. As I say, there's still a way to go, but I do think there has been a little bit of improvement, and that has mainly been through dietary changes, as I have explained in the video, and also trying to work on my strength. And gaining the strength has meant I've gained weight, which I was absolutely terrified of. I knew I wanted to be stronger, but I was scared to start strength training because I knew it would make me gain weight. But actually, I have started strength training. I have gained a bit of weight, but actually it has been so worth it, and it's better to have a body that is capable of doing things. So that's my video. Please, if you like it, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.